Good morning, guys. Welcome to Fishful Thinker. I'm Chad LaChance. This is Austin Parr. You've seen him on the show a bunch before. We've been on Chatfield, we've been on Duck Blinds, we've been Stagecoach. Well, now we're on Cherry Creek State Park. It's the most popular fishery in the state of Colorado right here. We're fishing for walleyes, one of the most popular fish in the state as well, and apparently it's going to go well, guys, so stay tuned, get comfortable. This ought to be a pretty good show. Good work, Mr. Parr.
Fishful Thinker Television is brought to you by Sportsman's Warehouse, America's premier outfitter. Peterson Toyota and Toyota Trucks, moving forward. St. Croix Rod, best rods on earth. Berkeley, catch more fish. Abu Garcia, for life. Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors. And Colorado Parks and Wildlife.
Well, welcome back. That's how we should open every show, guys. So are we going to need to net this guy, or are you going to bounce him?
I think we'll bounce him.
All right. Oh, yeah. Well, look at him go, though.
He's a little
fired
spunky,
up.
though.
Yeah, he is, I suppose. So look at him go like he knows what he's doing, guys. So it's one of the most prolific walleye fisheries in the state of Colorado here at Cherry Creek State Park. They use it as a brood lake. It's used to spawn walleyes that they live catch in March, stock them all over the state. There's all size classes in here. I have pliers in my pocket here.
Probably do that.
I don't go anywhere without pliers.
Got it that time.
Okay,
yeah.
there you
Loosen
go.
it up a little bit.
There you go. So that's a perfect one, and we're hoping to catch a whole bunch of those today. So we'll just keep working the blades around, figure out our angles, and get her done.
There's a fish.
Here you got one.
Little walleye.
Oh, he's wee. That one's not gonna be big enough for the Camp Chef. We're gonna have to work on that, Austin, but I'll tell you what, that's getting us started here. And like I said, guys, we're just bouncing around looking at a couple different spots on the lake. And anytime we're dealing with a metro fishery, there you go. That's the future of the fishery,
Absolutely.
Austin. That's the future.
And the nice thing about it is that, I found that this lake, more so than any of the other metro fisheries that I've really fished, seems to have a very wide range
of sizes.
There's from 3 inches to 30.
Well, and that's probably because they take good care of the lake. It's a brood lake. So this lake is netted here at Cherry Creek State Park, is netted every year in March. They live catch walleyes, they hold them in holding tanks until they're ripe, and then they artificially spawn them, and they use them to stock walleyes around the state.
There's a fish.
Oh, look at him own me now all of a sudden, coming out of nowhere. Good job. Austin does this every time we get in the boat with Austin. What'd you get? Go? That's a little bit better one. You're headed the right direction there. We're not, you swinging fish or we netting them?
We'll swing him, but hopefully we'll be netting some here in a little bit.
No, that's good action right there. I'm gonna get a bait in the water real quick here. So that's headed the right direction. Now you said we'd catch a whole bunch of them that size today, and we're just getting started, guys. For sure it is one of the better walleye fisheries in the state. Got trout and largemouth, and look at him go. He's got the angle, that's what it is. That's what I'm gonna tell myself. Now you're fishing on a, what rod? You got a 6'10"?
This is a 7-foot medium light fast. And it's one thing that I have kind of found out here, especially with these blades. I have some mediums that are rigged up over there, and the mediums definitely, you can catch a lot of fish on those mediums, but I've been finding that softer tip on these medium lights
one right there. So
helps.
We got us a double, yeah. And I also have a medium light because I asked him what I needed. And mine's a wee little guy, but we are now catching walleyes.
Couple walleyes going
one
in
after the other, and that's a good sign. Mine's the little one like that first one you got, but I'll take him. Gets me on the board after getting down 3-0. You can see you got the marine in the background right here, guys. And that's important. It's a concessionaire here at the state park. A lot of the Colorado State Park have a marina of some sort. Those guys run events here all summer long. They do boat and picnics on the swim beach over here, and they do
sailing classes
and paddleboard stuff and all kinds of stuff out of that marina over there. And it's a great resource for people.
We've definitely caught fish all the way up under the boat.
Oh yeah.
So it always happens. But with the most regularity, the longer casts.
Yeah, especially if they're up on the high spot.
Yeah.
There's one right there.
One, nice.
That feels like a little bit better one maybe. Yeah, maybe not, but that's okay. No, he's not, but that's right. We'll take him anyway. So that puts us up to about 5 of them already this morning, which is pretty quick morning. Stuck him on the chin. It's a little
happens
tight.
A lot with the blade baits.
Yeah, sure. They just react on the bait as it comes by. We get him unhooked. A wee little guy with little Johnson ThinFisher. Now the interesting thing with the little ThinFisher blade is, being a blade bait, all the weight's right at the very bottom of it. So when you pick it up, it vibrates real hard and then it swims back down to the bottom. The way we're fishing, got the cute little trebles on it. We're fishing 1/4 ounce ones here.
Yep.
I got a 10-pound Trident 100% fluorocarbon leader, 10-pound Nanofill for a main line, and then a little Revo SX. And you're fishing a 7-foot medium light. I've got a 6'10" medium light.
just both really fast tips, and I think that definitely makes a difference there as well.
Yep, mine's a Mojo Bass, which in my mind is one of the best values. The new Mojo Bass with IPC, it's one of the best values that St. Croix has. You got the fancy stick out. See, if he beats me, I'm blaming it on the fancy stick. That thing is unbelievably light and sensitive, Legend Extreme, and those things are, that's ridiculous fishing tackle. See, and it bends nice, it loads up real good when you get hook one. Nicely done. Seems like that right edge of the hump's the best part too.
Yep. They're up on top of it.
Nicely done, Mr. Parr. We're gonna have some fish for lunch yet.
Fish feels a little chunkier, we'll see.
Should we get a net out? You want me to net him?
Let's see what he looks like here.
Reel this in here. Oh, you must have a decent one. Oh no, he's
about,
too big.
about the same.
That's probably a legal one though.
He's getting better.
There you go. That's probably a legal fish right there.
Him up in here. And
get a hold of him. Now there you go. Now that, and the funny thing in this lake, that's actually a very young fish. As fast as they grow in here, that's a young fish, and he likes your little chrome.
They like it for sure.
You get bit one more time, I'm switching colors. There's no doubt about that. I have gold chrome on. He's got silver chrome on, and apparently they like the silver. Now my instinct is silver chrome, but I asked him what color he wanted, and he said gold chrome. I think he's trying to do this to me. Nicely done.
Fishful Thinker Television is brought to you by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. Evinrude, spend more time on the water. Lawrence, find, navigate, dominate.
I saw a gigantic whitetail buck in here one day. I mean, a big old huge buck, and I'm thinking, and I know whitetails are well known to be city dwellers at times anyway, but it still seemed weird here in Colorado to see a big old whitetail buck, and he was a nice one. I
was parked the other day getting the boat off the water, and all of a sudden a rooster pheasant comes flying and lands in the tree right above my head. I did a double take.
They look like parrots when they land in trees too.
Yep.
Yeah, right here in town.
I have some friends that are very passionate about photography as well.
Oh, sure.
And this is one of the spots that they really wind up utilizing a lot, even more so than Chatfield. You'd think that Chatfield would have a little bit more
but all
wildlife,
the trails around here.
The trails are great around here.
And there's so much woods, and all this whole south and east end of the lake, it's all heavily treed and all kinds of wildlife. You drive through here at barely first light, it does not feel like you're in downtown Denver.
Not at all.
That's for sure. But literally, you could come over here and fish for an hour before work from the bank, and you can walk. People fish on the dam over here. There's all sorts of day use over here where you can fish. There's even a shooting range here. All right, now we'll see here. Now, your Johnson ThinFisher pattern's holding up pretty good. But one thing we like about Austin Parr, we've been out with him several times. He runs guiding here. We could have brought my boat down here and done it, but Austin's got his rig set up and it's easy. And so just come down and get after it. Now, this might be a little bit better. There's a good one there. Look at this one. This one's not so bad. I'll bring him up right there. That's a keeper right there, guys. That right there, guys, is lunch. And, oh yeah, that's a keeper for sure. Yeah, everybody loves walleyes. The great thing about Cherry Creek State Park is there's day use areas, picnic tables, swim beaches, campsites, all that stuff. So we're gonna take advantage of the morning bite, and then we'll go put the boat on the trailer, fillet up some walleyes, and eat a traditional shore lunch. And the recipe I've got in mind, assuming the fish all cooperate like we need, is simple, simple, simple. For fishing a structural hump right here, we're just barely lifting the blade up off the bottom 0 to 12 inches, and then basically tight lining it back to the bottom. So it's a very subtle presentation in the grand scheme of things. But the blade bait, if you watch the rod tip, gives off a tremendous amount of vibration. It helps fish locate it. Lots of flash.
Absolutely.
Great way to trigger structurally oriented fish as well, because it's a good bottom contact bait. I always love that.
Yep.
Another possibility would be a spoon, a jigging spoon of some sort. For me, commonly that's a Johnson Splinter or a Sprite. I think either of those would have potential as well in this situation.
Kind of the same presentation, pitching out there and ripping and falling.
Ripping and falling, yeah, and it's that vertical, it's kind of the hybrid presentation of vertical and horizontal at the same time that makes it such a good element for structural fishing like this. Generally, I choose blade baits when fish are tighter to the structure, and I choose spoons when they're more released from the structure, but both have the similar concept of flash and vibration. I mean, if you look at this blade in the sun, it's extremely shiny, and it'll give off a full-on flash or strobe effect in the sun. And so by doing that, it'll attract fish to it.
These fish will move around on these humps, and you'll get on them on one spot. Next thing you know, you have to kind of slide around and even move as little as 50 or 100 yards. And next thing you know, there they are, all stacked up on the graph again.
Sure. Well, in our case too, we're probably covering a 50-yard circle around the boat.
You know, if you notice the directional casts here as well, we're really not casting behind the boat. We are
catching over here
catching
where the
over here
walleyes are.
Exactly.
Oh, that's good. Well, there's a decent looking one there. Now, that's pretty wide open walleye bite when you can just come down here and blade bait him and blade bait him and blade bait him
over and over and over again.
There you go, when you get him. All right, there you go. Another perfect one. Oh, and the thin fisher just fell right out. That's a nice one, dude. He's getting after him.
Fishful Thinker Television is brought to you by Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors. Peterson Toyota and Toyota Trucks, moving forward. And Colorado Parks and Wildlife.
There's, I think, 31 miles of trails in this park, so if you want to go bicycling or hiking or whatever, you'll see tons of wildlife too, which is a surprising part. There you go. You might see some fish too while you're hiking. Austin's carrying the show for me today. Thanks, Austin. I appreciate that.
This fish does feel heavier.
Okay. Shall I net him?
Yes.
Okay. Now I just want to make note that he actually requested that I net his fish, and that's generally not a good plan to have dear old Chad netting for you. Okay, I'm gonna come back here and grab the net real quick. See what we got here, Mr. Parr. We're gonna be able to put this one on the Camp Chef later?
I sure hope so.
There you go. Easy. We'll wait till he's there. We go. That one's going to be real close right there.
He is a
Look
tall
how
fish,
thick
too.
that one is. Look at that.
Chunky.
Let's throw him on the board. I think we might put him on the Camp Chef. All right. So this spot's working out pretty good, bud. I like your spot right here. We're basically what's happening, guys, because the editing will never be able to show you exactly, is we're catching one about every 4 or 5 casts.
Yep.
There he goes.
There's a little fish.
Oh, he's killing me. Look at him go, guys. He is flat putting it on me today. You wouldn't think that with this fishery getting as much pressure as it does. You didn't even do anything.
There's a little guy.
He just let it sink to the bottom. But that's okay. Austin's the guide here. He said gold chrome, and then promptly kicked my butt with silver chrome. What color did you put on?
This is a silver again.
You put the silver on. I'm putting the silver one on, just for the record.
Out of the box.
I'm putting the silver one on. You know, gold or silver, either one. And meanwhile, silver's been bit 5 times as much as gold. There we go. We got us a double. There we go. That's the way you're supposed to do it when you pull up on a new spot. As soon as they grab it, they know. There's one. Nice. There we go. There's one right there.
Nice.
Nice. There we go. He's either really little or he's coming to me. We just pulled over here on our second spot. Our first spot did not pan out. There's your Metro walleye right there. There's lots of them like that in this pond, and we're gonna eat that one for lunch.
Got that thin fisher right in his snout.
Nice little thick walleye right there, guys. And I'm happy to have that one because I have not fished very clean today. And there you go. And that was just a little short of being a keeper right there. And when I ask someone how they caught their fish, I want as many details as possible as far as equipment goes. Like for instance, I'm gonna ask Austin here in just a second, how are you catching your fish, Austin? Because apparently he's got a better system for that than dear old Chad here does. I think we're up to about 20 of those, or more than that even. So it's been a productive morning of catching a whole bunch of walleyes, that's for sure. No doubt about that.
You know, one thing I do find is, keeping that rod tip up and not really dropping that rod as much. Just in general.
So you're swinging the bait too.
Swinging it because, I found that if you lift it all the way up and then drop that all the way back down, that does not pick up as many fish. Everything with that rod tip up, I'm almost working it, almost up to about 12 o'clock above my head and then dropping down to 10 or 10:30. And every once in a while, I'll drop it just a little bit more and give it a little bit extra pause. And I find that, just to make sure you're in contact.
Yeah, right. Make sure it's staying back to the bottom.
Yep. And you're not necessarily feeling the bottom, but you just give it that extra second just to drop down and make sure that
let the line slack totally out.
Yep. And then a lot of times you'll let it sink down like that, and then on the next pull or two, that's when they'll eat it.
Right. If you're trying to catch a giant one here, what's your favorite time of year and what's your favorite time of day?
You know, early springtime and
when's that?
You know, in the last part of March, as long as the weather's cooperating, and into early April. You know, and a lot of times getting up really shallow, throwing a lot of jerk baits as typical. However, the blade baits during that time of year, you can wind up catching some really nice fish. And you know, your bites don't come as frequently as we have been having right now, but your size definitely is increased.
Yeah, the bell curve though, you got to consider that you're fishing for a very small percentage of the population when you're fishing for giants. And that's the first step in learning to fish for big fish versus fishing for fish.
Yep.
And in my mind, we're fishing for fish right now.
Sure.
We're fishing, we're looking for keepers to eat.
Oh, there was one again. I missed it.
And I ain't gonna talk no smack. See, that's normally the part where I talk smack, but when you've been soundly outfished for the day, you need to keep your smack talking to a minimum. There you go. See why I kept my smack talking to a minimum? You've got, look at the graph right here.
Just lit up, isn't it?
Oh man, I guess so. And you got another one, perfect. Right in the tip of the snout again.
Fishful Thinker Television is brought to you by Sportsman's Warehouse, America's premier outfitter. St. Croix Rod, best rods on earth. Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors.
Look at the swim beach over here. It's starting to get really popular now.
To load up.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty significant swim beach. Now, I know you can fish around there. I know there's some structure out in front of that swim beach. Or some cover anyway on the bottom. I don't know if there's any structure to it, but that swim beach over there is a really popular place. They do a boat in, the marina does a boat in barbecue thing over there during the week. You guys are gonna notice this spot looks familiar. We're gonna make one more quick stop, one more spot. So we rested this spot for maybe a half hour. This is where we've caught most of our fish so far today. We've caught fish everywhere we stopped. That's always the sign of a good guide right there. Austin Parr called that a gratuitous plug. But every single spot we've stopped on, we've caught fish. So that's a good sign. We rested this one. We'll see who's still here. I feel like we're a little inside now. So I'm gonna change my cast, my next cast. There's one. That's why, brand new, first cast, new spot. Now, he ain't much, but he proves our point.
Absolutely.
That is the first cast after we rested the spot. All right, actually this is my last cast right here. I'm gonna do a half cast. Dude, where are you? I'm going this way. Okay, here we go. This really is the last cast. Well, that's deeper out there. There he goes. Did you get him? Got him. Nicely done. Guys, we just called last cast, just for the record, and you got a decent one, it looks like.
Bill's chunky, and he hit it on the first pull.
Oh, really? Hit the bottom. You hit him in the face with it. You don't need a net for that one? We might need a net for this one. He's got a good bend in your net's right here, so when we get a look at him.
Give me a little head shake there, and
oh yeah, there's a good
little spunky fish there. Yeah, we'll keep him underneath the water so he doesn't break the surface and shake the hook.
That's real quick here.
There we go.
There we go, guys. And on that note, you can see that ThinFisher hanging right there, and that's a beautiful one to end on. So let's take this party to the bank at this point, go knock the sides off the keepers we caught, and cook them on the Camp Chef. All right, guys, we wanted to make this as simple as we could possibly make it. So we've got the Camp Chef Rainier Camper Combo Stove here that you already showed you. It's warming up right now and getting ready. Here's the tail sections of one of the walleyes that we filleted right here, and there's only 2 of us, so we're only gonna need to eat this little piece right here. It should be delicious. But I wanted to make it really as simple as we could, so I brought from home pre-mixed, and this is what I'm gonna recommend you do as well if you're gonna eat some fish. I pre-mixed up some mayonnaise, some lemon juice, and then some of this seafood rub from Sportsman's Warehouse right here. There's basically a couple tablespoons of mayonnaise, a little squeeze of lemon juice, and enough of this to give it some serious color, as you can see right there. So we only want to put just enough just to give it a little coat like that. So we'll take these and we'll flip them over. We'll do the other side as well. As you can see, they're perfectly skinned and filleted. I used a Berkley electric cordless fillet knife to knock the sides off these fish. So I'm gonna add a little bit extra of this stuff on here. We're gonna put them straight down on the grill right here like this. You can see it's gonna sizzle right away, and these are gonna go to cooking really quick. All right, so these have been cooking now for about 5 minutes or so on this side. I think that you can tell by the smell that they're getting there. I want them to go ahead and brown. I don't want them to char though, but I do want them to go ahead and brown. So we're gonna take a quick look at this one. That, guys, is exactly what I'm talking about. And that's gonna be really tasty. Like I said, the mayonnaise will cook down, it'll brown off, and that's gonna make for some really, really, really tasty walleyes right there. So everyone wants to know, when's my fish done, when's my fish done, and don't overcook fish. The key is you take a fork, you stick it right in the middle, and you twist it. If it will comfortably and easily flake apart, like this one right here is doing, that fish is very close to done. If not, that fish is completely done at that point. You see when it's barely have to twist that fork to flake it apart, it's done. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and pull these off. I believe that they are completely done after I just flaked them, so we'll pull that right off of there, put them right here. Austin, we'll get you one right here.
Thanks, yeah, thank you.
Put them right there. Mmm.
Delicious.
Perfectly cooked.
Absolutely.
Not overdone, not underdone.
Nice and flaky.
Mmm. Mmm, mmm, mmm. Good thing this guy can fish, because he carried the show today. If you want information on the seasonings, or you want to purchase the seasonings or the Camp Chef, you can do that at Sportsman's Warehouse, or of course the various websites as well. Fish is fantastic and so simple. One mix of fat and seasonings and flavorings and everything in one bowl, so you don't have to carry a whole bunch of stuff with you. It's very, very simple. You guys hopefully enjoyed it. Cherry Creek Lake State Park right here, loaded with walleyes, loaded with other species as well. Day use areas, beaches, boating, you know, place to sit and cook your lunch right on the side of the lake, plus a full service marina as well. So check out information on that at Colorado Parks and Wildlife's website as well. We'd appreciate you doing that. And most importantly, we hope you'll tune in, and we'll see you next week.
Time now for today's best catch, brought to you by Berkeley.
Just like that, I got bit, just like he just got bit. Same bait, same leader, same line, different rods. There you go, nicely done.
That ThinFisher right in the snout again.
Berkeley, catch more fish.
Look at him.
Oh, I lost that one.
Sure. I only got about 8 to make up with Austin.
Oh, that was
did you get him?
Oh.
Oh, buddy. There he goes. There he goes.
Oh, he came on.
Oh! Well, we're gonna cook some walleyes here shortly, but Austin, you don't have to catch the firewood because the Camp Chef runs on gas, dude. There's one. Oh, and I had one too. Just North Delaney a lot. Oh, there was a bump. Oh, come on now, Chad. All right, cut.